Good morning and welcome to the channel. I'm your host, John Dega, and with me behind the camera is Johnny. Yeah, man, you ain't kidding, Johnny. It's 57 degrees today here in South Florida, and we are absolutely not used to, prepared, or equipped to handle weather below 70. So today we're going to talk about our 1964 Alfa TZ. This is restoration update number 3. We're getting ready to go to the dyno with it, check our work, and so here she is. So I'd like to take the moment to introduce Jim Stevens. Now, Jim Stevens is the proprietor of Vintage and Exotic Restoration Services. It is a small parts restoration services. They do carburetors, distributors, starters, alternator, generators. So if you can take it off the car and put it in a box, you can send it to Jimmy and he'll make it better than new. Jim has a lot of vintage equipment that he's restored, such as distributor synchrographs, starter and alternator testers. He's got a small lathe. He's got a pretty well equipped at his home shop. Now, Jim has worked for me on 2 separate occasions at 2 separate businesses. We first met when we both relocated to South Florida at the restoration shop that shall remain nameless. So when Jim was tired of that place, he contacted me through a blind ad I had, and we kind of reunited. Jim worked for me for about 1.5 years until he went out on his own, and now he comes in 2 days a week to help with the collection. So Jim, on our 1964 Alfa Romeo TZ, can you tell us what you've done to the engine here and its components?
So when we received the car, it was a runner driver, didn't run terribly well. It actually had the wrong carburetors, mismatched carbs. They were 40 DCOEs, one an 18, and I think the other a 31. The owner actually had an original set of the DCOE, 45 DCOE 14s that I restored. We have original manuals, so we have all the original specifications for the carburetors. So they were restored back to the original specs. The distributor we found online as a core. It was a complete core, but needed quite a bit of love. So I restored it and didn't find a factory spec for the TZ, but found something pretty close. So that's where we have it set right now. And we'll let our dyno kind of give us some more information and feedback, and then we'll take it from there. The generator, it had the wrong generator, wrong date code. Again, another part that we sourced online, an original date code correct generator that I restored. The starter hasn't been off yet, but it's another item that date code incorrect, so it'll be coming off next. We already have a core for it to restore and put back on.
So Jimmy, you've driven the car since these repairs, restorations of the components have been made. We know that the engine is very serviceable. What's your feedback on it, seat of the pants?
Oh, it's a good running car. Incredibly cold this morning, no windshield, so that was a lot of fun. When we received the car, we went through oil pressure, compression, leak down. Everything was really solid on the motor. So we have a good foundation to start from.
Now, according to the Alfa Romeo documentation here, how much horsepower is this engine supposed to make?
112.
And now is that 112 at the rear wheels? Or?
No, at the crankshaft.
And that's an SAE designation?
DIN. That is the DIN.
Okay.
SAE was 120-ish.
Okay. So we're going to take it to a chassis dyno, so we'll be measuring the horsepower at the rear wheels. There is a parasitic loss through the drivetrain, be it the gears and the transmission, rear axles, the contact. Jesus.
It is cold today.
So we usually figure about a 15% loss. So we're going to be happy with anything over 100 horsepower.
95 would be 15% loss.
Okay. So we're going to head over to the dyno and we're going to see how she does. All right, guys, we're here at MFK. They have a DynoJet chassis dyno, and we're going to be getting on the dyno here in a few minutes with our 1964 Alfa TZ. So guys, we just finished up our dyno session here at MFK Performance in Boca Raton. I'll put a link to their shop in the description. We made a new friend today. His name's Max. He's from Argentina. He did a great job doing the pulls and setting the car up. Our results today weren't 100% what we expected, but that's why you come to the dyno and you test, so you know exactly what you're putting out. We showed like 82 horsepower and 100 foot-pounds of torque. Now that reading could be from two reasons. A, maybe the car isn't putting it out. I believe we've got some ignition breakdown, whether it be wires or the condition of the plugs, or even the distributor primary coil, could be anything. So we're going to have to chase that down. You can see on the dyno graphs where it drops out, the line gets all squiggly and won't smooth, and that will affect your horsepower reading, or it will affect the horsepower the car is producing. So we're going to go back to the shop. We're going to go over some things and make some improvements, changes, and then we'll come back and we'll see if we get our 100 horsepower. So guys, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Enjoyed having you. I'm John Daigle, your host. He's Johnny Ryan, and we'll see you on the next one.